Akira Kurosawa once said, "I suppose all of my films have a common theme. If I think about it though, the only theme that I can think of is really a question. Why can't people be happier together? Why indeed?" The answer to that question is complicated. It's complicated because people's experiences are complicated. Their motivations are complicated. Their lives are complicated. In short, people are complicated. That's how I would sum up the central theme of Kurosawa's films, especially the three I will examine within the scope of this analysis: Rashomon, The Hidden Fortress, and Seven Samurai. We struggle to get along with one another because humans are complex, contradictory, and truly unique individuals. None of us can fully understand each other, or even ourselves, and yet we judge other people like we know them. Tolkien once wrote an extremely insightful line for the wizard Gandalf.
"Do not be too eager to deal out death and judgment. Even the very wise can see all ends."
I believe this was at the heart of Kurosawa's films, to point out our flaws and try to understand and demonstrate what it means to be human. Through stories that present a kaleidoscope of human experiences, vices and virtues, Kurosawa challenges the audience to reconsider how they look at their fellow man. At first it would seem this deep examination of human nature only takes Kurosawa to disagreeable places, as he has a sobering approach to his portrayal of people. He does not shy away from demonstrating humanity's universal propensity for all manner of sins. Even the heroes of his stories are not without their flaws. All this heavy subject matter might force one to conclude that Kurosawa was a nihilist akin to the passerby in Rashomon, simply content to deconstruct the dismal state of humanity without leaving room for hope. But irredeemable is not in Kurosawa's vocabulary. On the contrary, he has a deep love for humanity, and the characters are at the heart of his stories. In highlighting imperfections, he is just asking the audience to sympathize and reevaluate. For example, though it might seem unexpected, pointing out that even the good guys have flaws can compel us to reevaluate the bad guys. He is trying to dissolve simple moral judgments. As Alexander Solzhenitsyn once said, the line separating good and evil passes through every human heart. Complementing this affirmation that there are no pure heroes is the notion that there are no truly lost villains either. Predominantly the central antagonists of Kurosawa's films are represented by low-resolution collective forces like the Bandits or the Yamana clan. Much like the orcs in Tolkien, they are symbolic substitutes for the potential of human evil. But actual personified characters who play an evil or antagonistic role are usually accompanied by some sort of redeeming quality, be it ever so tenuous. Kurosawa is careful not to paint any individual with broad strokes. In The Hidden Fortress, Rakarota and Tadakoro were once allies, and although fate allotted them different paths, ultimately, change towards the good is possible. Despite his boastful claims of indifference, it is hinted that the bandit in Rashomon shows remorse and shame for his actions. Kurosawa also attempts to undermine the audience's confidence in their initial prejudices about characters by sometimes having them hide their true nature. General Rakarota tricks the peasants and the audience alike. Chikuchiyo in The Seven Samurai seems destructive at first, and resents both the farmers and the samurai. Yet ultimately he dies fighting on the side of both. This confronting uncertainty seeks to erode the confidence we have in judging people, and is the entire thrust of the film Rashomon. A paradoxical side is strongly suggested for all three of the main protagonists. Likewise, people's nature cannot be ascertained through the lens of naive social categories. Poor peasants can be awful, cowardly people. and people with power can be good, or vice versa. Ultimately, this theme of showing the complexity of humanity can be daunting, but another theme that Kurosawa introduces gives us hope and direction. All three films deal with the ability humans have to do our duty and good in the face of overwhelming odds. The woodcutter faces the harrowing fact that he is just as capable of wrongdoing as his fellow man, yet in response he doesn't despair, but rather shoulders the burden of pursuing good. Kikuchiyo is a compelling example of this, going from rash and brazen beginnings to ultimately attaining the heart of a true hero through his actions. By the end of Seven Samurai, more than half of them are dead, and Shimada is inclined to conclude that despite whatever victory on the battlefield was won, they had ultimately lost. The heroes in this story don't emerge from their trials rejuvenated and victorious, but rather broken and diminished by the heavy price of fighting for what is right. Yet this outcome is inexorably preferable to one where the bandits overrun and slaughter the farmers. In the real world, sometimes to attain what is right, we must bear our cross. In the end, good is what we should strive for no matter the cost. It's a confronting but sober way to look at the world. In examining the duality of man, Kurosawa invites the audience to second-guess not only their prejudices, but also themselves. He shows the bittersweetness of life through a kind of tragic optimism. While humans are deeply flawed, the timeless truth is that we are also capable of greatness.